everyone. Going a bit crazy now, isn't it? Going a bit crazy. Omicron. It's doing all sorts of things, isn't it? Do you know why? Because the public is doing what the public does best. Panicking. Kind of panicking, isn't it? We've got the professional theatre closing down all kinds of productions all over the place. Pantomimes are finishing early. Some musicals on Broadway have closed altogether, like Waitress. We got a lot of productions in London where some of the cast and crew have tested positive for coronavirus, and therefore, because it's now a 7-day isolation period, they've had to pull the production because there's not enough people to man it, and also adhere to health and safety measures while they're going. And meanwhile, the amateur theatre is just thinking, we don't need this. And people are, before Christmas, people were panicking because they didn't want to take COVID to elderly relatives that they were seeing over Christmas, and that's fair enough, isn't it? And the same is for the new year, I suppose, which is where we are now. And then we've got what the government's going to bring in next week. There was a rumour that they were perhaps going to bring in homeschooling again, but I don't think they're going to go backwards that far. We'll have to wait and see, won't we? But there we go. It's funny. I think the government's tactic is now that they've totally lost control of the spread of the Omicron virus. And I'm imagining that everyone that gets COVID now is getting the Omicron virus, the Omicron variant. They must be. And I'm imagining that the government's having lost control of possibly keeping it within our borders and all that stuff, or keeping it out of our borders, because they've lost control of that. They're saying, let everyone get it now. Everyone's going to get it. That's why Chris Whitty's popping up on public information videos every now and then, in between programs on TV, saying, make sure you get your booster, won't you? Make sure you get your booster, because they know everyone's going to get it. And if everyone's had their boosters and their first 2 jabs, then that means, I suppose, it means everyone will get it as lightly as possible, and hospitalisations will be right down. So that's why we're seeing infections going through the roof, but hospitalisations staying very low. That's probably why, isn't it? And hopefully it'll all be over soon, and the vaccine will prevail, because the vaccine doesn't have an effect on Omicron. We know that now, and let's hope that it all works itself out in the wash. And this last bit of panic is a last surge before it becomes part of our yearly everyday lives. I mean, eventually, what's the government going to do? What's the next step? The next step is probably going to be, I suppose, because we're going to have to live with it, and we're going to have vaccines every year, I guess what the government's going to say next is, right, you've got to treat it like everyday flu. If you've got it, you've got to stay home, but you don't have to self-isolate for 7 days. When you feel better or you test negative, then you can go back to work, or you can go back to whatever you were doing. That'll be it, I expect. And that'll be it. And anyone in your house connected with you doesn't have to self-isolate. It'll be like that, and people that will get it, people that don't don't. And I suppose it will be like flu or a cold in the winter months, won't it? And we'll have a vaccine every year to take that's updated from the previous year, and that'll be it. But let's please stop closing these shows. We've got to keep the shows open, we've got to keep theatres open, and we've got to get back to theatre. If we were doing amateur theatre, we've got to get back to it quickly, or all, they'll have to bring furlough back, they'll have to bring SEISS back, they have to bring all sorts back, and they can't afford to do that. They just can't afford it. It's ridiculous. You can't do that every time there's an outbreak or something, can you? So that's it, really. So let's hope that we can get over this. We can get over this. It's funny, in the next edition of Sardines, we're bringing out a thing where we're looking at a bit of a timeline of what's gone on over Christmas and the New Year, and afterwards we'll bring you the timeline then, but it hasn't happened yet, so we don't know what's going to go on. But if everyone's been jabbed, boosted, and even had it as well, and developed the natural antibodies inside us on top of the vaccine antibodies, then I don't see that everyone's, even if you are elderly, let's hope that everything will be alright and you'll be okay. My mum's got it now, so we'll have to see what happens. But I think if you've been double vaxxed, boosted and all sorts, it's like a bit of a cold or a heavy cold or something, which is quite hard to identify this time of year, isn't it, between other colds and all sorts. But what else can we do? We're all getting it. Everyone's going to get it. Apparently, I heard yesterday that 11% of the population has currently got COVID. That's a lot of people, isn't it? And if you think of who's got it and had it, that's even more, many millions more. But let's get back to it. Come on, guys. There's pantomimes that are closing early. There's all sorts. We can't afford it. We've got to get back to what we do best. Got to get businesses open. Got to run our lives again. So let's go. Stay safe. Never been so pertinent as now, is it? Stay well. Again. We'll be back. We kind of are back, but we've got to be back all over again now. See you later. Bye for now.